Hello guys, so today I'm going to show you how to SSH into your local host Ubuntu server running on Oracle VirtualBox. So as you can see here, I have an instance of Ubuntu server 1804 long-term support running on my Oracle VirtualBox machine here, and it's just a standard installation of the Ubuntu server, and there's nothing additional installed, and it already comes with the SSH server, secure shell server running on the operating system. So Ubuntu comes with that pre-installed, and it's running as a server, so you don't have to do any additional setup on this server. But these are all the default settings here on VirtualBox. So if you try, I'm going to be using Git Bash. So Git Bash is it comes with when you install Git, it comes with Git. It's a Bash terminal-like style, like a Linux-like style terminal, which allows you to use Linux commands, and it also has a built-in SSH client, so you can connect to remote servers. So I'm going to be using that. I'm going to be using PuTTY, which is a famous Windows tool for connecting to remote machines, and also FileZilla, which you can use to connect to the file system of the server. So if I try, because this is running here on localhost, yes. So if I try to connect to it using Git, for example, here, and if I try, I have a user created user1 at localhost, and if I try to do that, you're gonna see that that's just not gonna work. So I tried to connect on port 22, which is the default port for the SSH server, but it said connection refused, so it didn't work. So what's happening? So you have to go into settings. You have to go into settings of your instance of the server. It can be still running, so you're gonna go under network, and you're going to check first of all which adapter is attached here to, and it's attached to the NAT network. So that acts like a router and like a bridge sort of between your host machine and your guest machine. So the NAT is like a virtual router that connects your virtual machine to the internet, but from your host machine you can't really go and connect to the virtual machine because it acts as a router, so we have to do some port forwarding. So you're going to click on advanced here, and you're going to come down to port forwarding, and in here, as you can see, I have nothing. So what you want to check, you want to, in your server terminal, you want to type ifconfig to get the guest IP, which usually is going to be, if everything is set as default, it's usually going to be here the first INET IP, which is 10.0.2.15, and your guest machine, which will be the local host IP, or 1.7.0.0.1. So what you want to do is you want to click here this icon here, this plus icon. You want to add a new you want to forward a new port. So you want to leave this as default here, the TCP protocol, and you want to set the host IP. So that's your the host IP. So that's your host machine, and you want to set that as the 127.0.0.1, which is a usual default. That's usually a local host IP, and then you want to set the port as 22 because that's where the SSH server is running on that port. That's the default, and the guest IP usually is going to be the one here, the first one, the INET that says 10.0.2.15. So you want to set that there, 10.0.2.15. And also the port should be 22. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna allow communications from your host machine to the guest machine through port 22. And when you press OK, you have to press OK here. So we're gonna minimize this tab, these windows down. And when I go back into Git, and if I try to rerun the same command, you're gonna see that it's gonna work. It asks for my password, so I'm just gonna enter my password, and we should be connected. And yes, as you can see, we are connected into the Linux server, and we can start working from it here. We can start working with the server from it from this terminal. So also the same thing goes for PuTTY. If you open PuTTY, you can just type in here localhost. It already has the port 22 here, and you can just say open, and it's just gonna log in as. So I have user1. And you're gonna do your password here, and it's gonna work just fine, as you can see. So it's just gonna basically, put you inside the server. So that's about that. But also one more thing, whilst the server on Ubuntu is running, you can also connect to its file system using FileZilla client. So you just have to type the host, which is gonna be localhost, username, your username on your server, and the password that you have for that user. on this server. So let me just type it, and the port's gonna be still 22. And if you press quick connect, it should connect to the local host server without any problem. And as you can see, we are in the directory, so we're in the user folder. But as you can see, we do have access to the full server, files, or all the files of the server. So that's kind of the thing you need to know, is that you need to do a port forwarding. So you need one more thing. So you need to make sure that when you go here, you connect it to the NAT, and you want to go to advanced, and you want to go to port forwarding. Check your IP. So let me open the. You want to write ifconfig. Check your first INET IP address here, which usually would be your guest IP, and you want to forward that to that IP. You want to forward the port 22, so you can access it from your host machine, or from your local host, actually from your host machine. And that's what you have to do in order to access to SSH into your server. So thanks for watching, guys, and see you until next time.